What happens if hammer is the only tool you've got? What if the only tool you've got is a hammer? Yeah.
Everything looks like a nail.
Right. Any other inputs? Any ideas? Okay, great. I'll go with this. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and friends. If hammer is the only tool you've got, everything looks like a nail. Irrespective of the problem in hand, if the only tool you've got is a hammer, you try to look at everything through the lens of a hammer. Think about this scenario: a garden, some repair work is there, some sticks, some repairs, gates, and your fence needs to be fixed. Someone told a nail and a hammer can do this job, and you tried the nail and hammer, fixing each blow was so satisfying. When the thing was snugly fit, it's all fixed, you really enjoyed it and you felt great. And there were a few posts and pillars here and there. You used hammer, you enjoyed it. And there were a few protruding stones on the ground. You just get bang, 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 all settled. Great, it's working. So you thoroughly enjoyed, but it became like an extension of yourself. You loved it, you carried it, and the hammer became an extension of yourself. And so you started using hammer even when you need to tap a friend in the front on the shoulder, hammer. You need to pat somebody on the shoulder, hammer. You need to fold and glue an envelope, hammer. So that's decadence.
Yeah.
When you get too obsessed and involved in one particular thing, and that's the only thing you've got, you start to abuse it. It sounds so ridiculous with this example, but when it comes to leadership, the same thing is being practiced. Leadership is not something which is set out and prescribed only for the professional environments. We have leadership situations in our personal lives, in our professional lives, in our social lives. Right from the time we are born, there are situations each one of us have to showcase or practice certain leadership qualities. But leadership is kind of shown or glorified with this is leadership style, this is my leadership style, this is the most celebrated leadership style. They say leadership is kind of 7 types of leadership, 7 styles of leadership, like autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, servant leadership, situational leadership, laissez-faire leadership. I think it's a laid back leadership, and transactional leadership and transformational leadership. All these 7, for me, if I need to simplify them, we can put them into 3 buckets: the extreme democratic leadership to the extreme autocratic leadership, and the kind of servant and service kind of situational leadership coming in the middle. This is a wide spectrum of different leadership styles, and you can have subdivisions under them. And each one has got its own nuanced tools and techniques and frameworks to be used. But instead of having a cognizance about all of this, having an awareness of all of this, certain leadership styles works for you, or certain leadership styles are glorified, then you get identified mostly with that. And then you kind of glorify yourself, identify yourself, and say, this is my leadership style. It is equivalent of telling, and this is my hammer. So leadership, in terms of the most successful leaders, even for a same given problem, the way they give solution, the way they lead, differs from person to person. For example, in this room, all of you, if you are on my team, and for the same problem, with each one of you, if I'm a very successful leader, the way I communicate that to you and the way I get it done will be completely different. If you study the most successful leaders, that's what differentiates them with the normal so-called leadership. So leadership is not something to show off as a style. It is to show off responsibly for the given problem and get results. There's a popular quote by John Maxwell about leadership. It says, leadership is nothing but influence. The core essence of leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. So I would encourage all of us to, in this week, take a moment to think about, to reflect upon what is our leadership skill or style which clicks. What is some style which doesn't click, which needs some kind of a reorientation? Because if hammer is the only tool you've got, every problem looks like an A. Thank you.